everybody? It's your neighborhood friendly policeman again. Uh, How's everybody doing on this beautiful Friday afternoon? How are you all doing? How are you all doing? We got Herbert Lewis in the building. Who else do we have here? Give it a couple more minutes for people to plow in. Driving to this chiropractor, gotta get right, gotta get loose. I suggest for all men, go get your chiropractor done. Terray, what's up? Yeah, I gotta say something about that because I give everybody the benefit of the doubt till I check out their material, and I hate it when people are in a profession like ours, and they're saying some really ignorant and just totally wrong stuff, man. We got 5 people in the building. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Got a little bit of time. Give me a woo in the chat if you can still hear me. Give me a woo in the chat if you can hear me. See, I was looking at Officer Brandon Tatum's videos last night, and one of the most disturbing things he said was, if you want to end police brutality, just comply. When I heard that, I'm like, how many times have we had compliance out of many of the police-involved shootings? Was the person complying? Or police-involved incidents, was that person complying? Now, are there times that police have to use force? Sure. I'm one of the guys to tell you, when the fight's on, the fight's on. But yet, even with the incident that I spoke about a few weeks ago, with the Army lieutenant with his hands out in the air, where you can plainly see he's not posing a threat. Once you even see that he's afraid and he's a man in uniform, and you can see the reason why they stopped him was because of the tag. Once you can see that his tag was in the window, no harm, no foul. Let it go. But once again, you have to have a dumbass cop lose his job and his career by doing and saying stuff that was unprovoked, that was unnecessary. If you're a former service member yourself, you could have just something that the 21st century policing always suggests is called what? De-escalation. If he's scared, you got your partner. I'm gonna have your partner cover you on the other side if necessary. Pull him out the car, sit him down, and just speak to him. You don't go out of your way and say, "Well, you should be scared." No, 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 no. But getting back to Brandon Tatum, when he said about you should comply, there would be no brutality. Look, I'm not saying guys don't run on you, guys don't swing on you. That's a totally different subject. But I've been there when guys basically took cheap shots at guys and fucking handcuffs and they were chills. You know, they were like, hey, I'm like, dude, you got to pull the cop off the dude. Like, yo, what the hell you doing? There's guys who point shit on people. Hold on. Now back to what I was saying. I'm seeing guys take cheap who were complying. I was saying where all these guys basically tried to humiliate somebody because they had a goddamn axe to grind. But yet, when we look at this thing called compliance, how many times have you had guys get the shit kicked out of them, shot, nightstick, from complying? I mean, you just had a cop on trial. You just had a cop on trial from a man in handcuffs, face down on the ground, and with his knee on his neck for 9 minutes. How much compliant can you be? I mean, we got to ask ourselves this shit. If compliance was the only thing that mattered, guess what? We wouldn't worry about shit like this, would we? If and oh yeah, I got to speak on his rhetoric when he's on the BBC and he's on Fox News talking about America's not a racist country. See, America's a very smart country because they can't discriminate openly saying because you're black. Now they have to put in something because of your credit score, because of your ASVAB score, because of your SAT score. And that's how we refuse you in a certain arenas. But let a guy like him tell it. We're all kumbaya and shit. And it's funny how a guy like him could get 1 million subscribers, not hating. And I'm thinking to myself, that's only because you say the rhetoric that you want that others who are not a part of the black agenda in America want to believe. Hell, a lot of it is because those people who support you want to use you with some type of math to prop up. And this evolved white society from any of its iniquities. People like you and Candace Owens are very dangerous. Very, very dangerous on a phenomenal scale. Because you will go ahead and say, "Oh, we're not racist. We're a peace-loving country." But yet, you're the same type of officer that would call Cal Rittenhouse a good person when he and his mother should be arrested. You even have some white cops, but remember, we're not a racist country. You have white cops who supporting what Cal did when he should be arrested because he's 17 in the hands of a firearm with no adult supervision, and his mother should be arrested for taking his ass there with endangerment, recklessly. But yet, so many times have people complied, and it's bad enough that people have this angst when officers like myself stop people, and they get this automatic angst that, "Oh, I'm scared." Even there's times when I have to tell a person, "Hey, take their kids upstairs because they don't need to hear adult information." You try to do things respectfully. We're not talking about a term where you have the suspect trying to fight, you have the suspect running, and you got to run after him. You have a suspect with a weapon. But yet, we still to this day create this angst because we got a chip on our shoulders. And I really have to speak on this part that he actually said. Well, you have cities like Philadelphia and Baltimore, where I'm from and where I work, where it's almost 50-50. You wonder why a city that's 70% black have only 43% police or 45 are white. It's because, number one, when you speak to recruiters, always go to the source. They would eliminate people just from being honest. Like they always tell you, be honest. It's not going to disqualify you, which is the biggest fucking lie that the recruiter tells you or the investigator. If you smoke weed, just be honest about it. And then you tell them, "Oh, boom, you're disqualified." So you're checking me for integrity when you already failed yourself as an investigator. One time with weed, maybe one time they stole candy from a store when they were 5. They learned from the error of their ways, got their ass whooped. Maybe they got into a fight defending themselves. But we'll disqualify them for that. So now we'll go into places like Puerto Rico, damn near all expenses paid, of course. They'll be sent over to West Bumfuck, Pennsylvania, or racist ass Boston, and other places, West Virginia, to hire, or Virginia. And you already know the race relations in Virginia are so great, right? To hire police there who don't know anything about black people except the stereotypes. And maybe if that. Maybe that. So, you get these people who get on and if you ever notice, every drug unit is predominantly white. Like you can't spot a white drug cop a mile away. Ask me how I know. I was detailed out. Ask me how I know. detailed out for 2 or 3 months for a drug unit. It was cool, but that's too much running and gunning, especially when you got a kid. Yet, you got some of these white guys who become cops, and they'll literally plant drugs on your ass. Is that all? No, but too damn many. Too damn many. And we're supposed to build community policing with that. With just the stigma alone of white cops coming to kick your ass, and they're doing their dirt and going right back to West Bumfuck, Pennsylvania, where they bought their house. Because, oh no, you know they're not going to live in the city because retribution would be a motherfucker. And then they'll leave all this stupid shit for officers like me to clean up. Oh. But yeah, Officer Mr. Tatum would tell you this country isn't racist. When you look at stop and frisk, have you noticed that they put them in neighborhoods where there's poverty and crime? Okay, cool. So, what about it? Have you actually came out and figured out why is there so much crime? Proximity, lack of opportunity, desperation, and time. That's why. Excuse me for 1 second, folks. But yes, you're right, Adam Williams. Economic disparities. We're supposed to blame poor people for being poor. We're supposed to blame people for what? How many centuries of economic castration? You know, I would say to Mr. Tatum, how many times have black people said, you know what, fuck it, we're going to go the fuck away from white people because you mean us no good. We're going to develop our own will. We're going to develop our own destiny. And there are many times in American history where black people were making more money than whites. And what do white America do? Do they congratulate us? Do they let us have our freedom and just say, hey, leave them alone? No, they come over there and fucking try to kill us or bomb us. They go out of their way. They go out of their fucking way to disturb us. You don't see us bothering them. But yet, when he talked about stereotypes, what are the Asian stereotypes? That they study, they're smart. That's just recently. Well, but you know, we try to look at be a thug. Majority of black people are not thugs nor criminals. Majority of black men do not even sag their pants. That's just a negative racist stereotype that white people portrayed. I said the shit that he's talking is no different than the racist rhetoric that you heard from the early 1900s from Birth of a Nation. I mean, how many times do black people have to go out of their way and acts of bravery and courage where there were black boys who actually rescued an old white lady who was stuck in a damn car? But you know what? You're so quick to demonize them because of the way they dress. And it's funny, right? It's funny that only in black America where everybody wants to dress like you, but nobody wants to carry the struggle. But this guy was a cop for X amount of years, and this is what he thinks of you. And this is the reason why the Gray Faulkner Initiative is so important. So important. This is the reason why. Because if you do not guide the hand that protects you, it's going to be the hand that turns its sword against you. Notice they'll bring up Officer Tatum and not an Officer Faulkner to the BBC or Fox News. Notice how it's so quick for him to talk about how blacks commit 52% of the murders, which is numerically impossible, when I could just put several articles disproving that. If you want to see the articles, give me a woo in the chat. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and donate. Stop being cheap. A lot of you don't even understand that, these guys out here, a lot of you don't even understand that these guys out here will sell you out. They will feed you a bunch of bullshit. So how can 13% commit 52% of the murders? Like white people actually, there's over what, 170 million whites, 40 million blacks. How can we commit half the murders? One, numerically impossible. Number two, have you noticed how many times white people commit heinous crimes? They call it, especially when it's come a taking of someone's life, they call it manslaughter. The plot thickens, right? Like king syrup, it just thickens. Look at Amber Geiger. When she kicked open somebody's door and shot him in cold blood, that should have been murder. That should have been premeditated murder because she had the intent to handle some business. Unless she was drunk, or coked up, or she wanted to settle the hash of that young person, something doesn't seem right. Okay? That should have been a murder case. But yet, what happens? You got the same buck dancing motherfuckers who are not only spewing this rhetoric that Candace Owens or Officer Tatum would speak. You had the same motherfuckers who would be the judges and the bailiffs or the correctional officers rubbing her hair, playing in her hair. Because majority of white people To kill who? Other white people. Because you commit crimes by proximity. Number one, white on white crime is what? 88, 89%, where black on black is what? 91, 90. So you're not too far off because in America, we still live relatively what? Segregated. People always say, well, are more black people shot by the police? And raw numbers, no. You're anywhere from 2 to 5 times more likely to shoot a white guy, but that's only because there's certain parts of the country where there are no black people. Take Iowa, for instance. It's only 2% black. You'll have a better chance of running into Rocky and Bullwinkle in Iowa than a black person. Now, when we talk about stereotypes of sagging your pants, a lot of us don't. You got teenagers who don't do it because they think it's stupid. You got grown men who don't do it because, yeah, you're going to try to put us up together with the select few who do it. But yet, not every Asian person I met were brilliant, but we're going to still go by that stereotype and say that, oh, their stereotype is this. No, the reality is this, that they get a lot of benefits from this fucking government that black ADOS people are damn near shitted on for even fighting for. And you know it. It's amazing how blacks are the ones who fought for civil rights, but how many other people come to this country and benefited more from it than we did. When this country will make a fucking stop the Asian hate, when I could easily show you multiple videos of Asian people assaulting black women. Multiple. So let's not be disingenuous on the subject matter. When the proof is in the pudding. When how the fuck does black people hate Asian people when we're the ones buying up all their goddamn godforsaken hair and other products and supporting their corner stores because God knows they couldn't set up shop in a white neighborhood. God knows that. They'd have really told you Asian hate. Well, actually, if you look at the statistics, 90% of the Asian hate comes from white people. And the little incidents that you do see with black people, majority of them is because they fed up with those racist ass Asians. But once again, I'll digress. But how is it that we support your stores, you don't hire our kids, you don't give them an after-school job, but you'll hire your family? Cool. But you get to send your kids to Ivy League schools while the black community struggles to send our kids to community college and junior college. But we hate you so much. We hate you so much that we still allow your asses to mistreat us and we still support your fucking stores. Fuck out of here with that. But you still got this guy saying that black people are so criminal. Last time I checked, name me the one black person or the one black nation to ever drop an atomic bomb on another country. Name me one time that black people go out of their way to put any other race of people in internment camps. I'll wait. And you can't. You know you can't. I'll wait and I know you can. One devices. Notice how much better they are living, how longer the dollar stays circulating in our communities. The job market goes higher, but as soon as you get white subterfuge, as soon as you get white involvement, talking about you, second wave feminism, third wave feminism, the value of the black family and community goes to shit. But I'll continue with this. You have this grown man here talking about compliance and looking a certain way. It's nothing you can do to look a certain way because you got a bunch of white boys who want to emulate this thug culture, so quote unquote. But are they treated a certain way? See, throughout history, white males were given this age of adolescence or this age of being a maverick, being a wild boy, as Machine Gun Kelly would say, that black men were never afforded. Historically, you were looked at as a threat ever since what? The age of pretty much what? 8, 9, 10? You couldn't win for trying. Look at the expulsion rate or the suspension rate of black boys who get in the same amount of trouble as whites. You had Dr. T.S.R. Johnson talk about his son getting into a little tiff with a girl at 2, and they wanted to expel him from the daycare. That's what they think about you. You're a threat. You're always going to be a threat. As long as we got white guilt, you're always going to be looked at as a threat. But as long as you have people like Candace Owens and Tatum, leaving white people from their fucking sins, crimes, and iniquity, it's going to be all right. The terrifying thing about it is that it's amazing how Kyle could take his ass to another state from Wisconsin to what, Illinois, with his mother driving him. She ought to be arrested and sentenced for X amount of years. Take his happy ass there, and here it is, Brandon. I'm trying to get my butter biscuits. Tatum is trying to literally make this kid look like he's an upstanding citizen when he's a terrorist. You had no business being there. You should have stayed your ass home. And then what? All for what? To live out some goddamn dreams? To live out a G.I. Joe fantasy because you know you couldn't make the real military? See, I'm getting tired of a lot of these dudes out here who, number one, the average AR costs anywhere from $800 to over $1,500, which means you have residual throwaway wealth. It's amazing how normal it is for a white teenager to get a fucking rifle, a med kit, a flak vest, magazines, how many rounds of 223, 5.56, excuse me. But as soon as we see a black teenager of the same build, same age, everybody's in mortal fear. But nobody would say he's wrong for bringing his ass up there.
People shooting 3.
Nobody will ever condemn him. But the black guy who comes out the car, scared, because he's being indoctrinated into being fear-mongering, he can't get a break if he gets shot, can he? We got to blame him. He should have complied. See the difference? And we're not talking about somebody who's actively being aggressive towards the police. We're talking about people who are afraid because they don't want to be the next person on a damn T-shirt or the next name mentioned at a goddamn rally. So that lieutenant, that U.S. Army lieutenant should have complied. When it was that officer's job to de-escalate, when he heightened the shit, when he told you ought to be afraid, and pepper sprayed the man in the car. What if he didn't have it in park, and what if he just had his foot on the brake pad? And would have ran right into the store or to somebody. That would have been the officer's goddamn fault. Poor tactic. But America's not racist, right? How many times you sat into a goddamn roll call room and they said, well, if these people have a cookout, we need to keep their eyes on them because certain people, you always got to keep your eyes on. Are you going to go into those $1 million areas where those judges and state's attorneys, assistant state's attorneys live? Are you going to shake down their kids when they're sitting at a rural farms, gathered all in front of it? Are we going to get the same fucking treatment? But I forgot, there's no racism here, and we all get equal fair opportunity and treatment in America. Really? Last time I checked, how many black people can pay their way to go to Yale or Stanford or Cal Berkeley? It took a fucking scandal, which the people who were involved in the scandal didn't get any real time. But guess what? That's called rich white privilege. I'm sorry, that doesn't exist. We're not going to talk about how comfortable certain races of officers feel coming out of their mouths in front of me to say, well, these people, they deserve a little bit more because they pay taxes. And I had to correct that motherfucker saying, no, you better treat everybody fucking equally. Because I don't give a damn if they make $30,000 or $30 million. Everybody deserves respect. Oh, but you don't see how there are officers who will plant shit because they don't have to face the consequences of living in the same neighborhoods they actually patrol. And I'm not condoning good officers, by the way. I'm talking about shit that I had to see, I had to testify against. But yet, when have you ever heard Officer Tatum say, "Hey, we need to get more officers here"? Trailer Hood Voodoo Ninja. I said average, not the lowest. How many times do we need to promote the Gray Faulkner Initiative? You want to end police brutality? I got a simple solution for you. Become the fucking police. Complying does not end police brutality because you're gonna have sometimes some guy with a goddamn hard on because he ain't getting none the last night from his wife, brutalizing you. There's the Gray Faulkner Initiative right there. Why not make more police from the black community? Why not take over the responsibility of protecting your neighborhood? If you really want us to step up and fix shit that's going on in this community, become the goddamn police, become the goddamn firefighters, hell, even become the military. Why are you letting other races of people take over your benefits? I've seen a scary statistic where black women are joining the military more than black men. One, you don't want to push your boys into being great. You want to push your damn black boys into being subservient. And this is something else I'm gonna speak of. This is what happens to your community when you do not groom your police, your firefighters, and your soldiers. You'll have people like Brandon Tatum speak out, get paid well, and say some stupid shit coming out of his mouth that he knows is not true. Like thug culture started with black people. I mean, and nobody saw gangs in New York. Last time I checked, you got Lucky Luciano and you got Al Capone still being praised by white people and blacks. But when blacks do the same damn thing, you criticize them. You demonize them. But yet, this isn't a racist country. Nope, not a racist country at all. We're all treated evenly. We're all given a fair shake. Have you ever noticed people who speak out about black people in this way? They always speak in a term of where they're going to be vengeful against black. Aha! The dominating society is going to pay me. I'm going to speak some rhetoric that I know isn't true. I know it's totally false and made up. And I'm going to repeat this shit. If you want to stop police brutality, it's not about fucking complying. It's becoming the police and giving a damn about the people and the community. It's called taking over your fucking school boards and giving proper education to your black boys. The higher the education, the more the opportunities they can create. Give them higher level English, higher level math, higher levels of science. Actually, I got to quote Frederick Douglass with this one. It is better to build strong boys than to repair broken men. And for too long, we've been a broken man factory. Anytime I got to deal with single mothers who won't let their boys go to the military, you know why? Because they're mad and upset that if their boy leaves, they won't have a man around them. That's your fault and that's your problem. That boy has a responsibility not only to his family, but his community and his society as a whole to become better and greater than the last generation that was set out before him. I never heard Brandon Tatum or Candace Owens say some shit like that. Never. And you never will. Especially if they're getting paid by white dollars. Like, share, and donate. If you don't know what a donation is, it's been in the goddamn ticker. There's the damn cash app. Right there. Donate. You have to understand something. When you look at your fellow man as a human being, you're going to think twice about abusing him unless you have to use such force. Because I've been to places where guys are automatically high strung and want to just beat the fuck out of people. When many of the issues that we see set before us between the public and the police is written all over the face. You don't have enough representation in it to get rid of the old boy system. The thing that needs to happen is to get rid of this adversarial relationship between the citizens and the police. They should have more community meetings, more community functions, more civilian training on what the police go through. More civilians should go on ride-alongs. This should start early, not just with the adults, but also the children. You should open up more PAL centers, especially since summertime is damn near upon us. When you're open and transparent, people are going to feel more comfortable. Instead of all this stuff that we speak of, instead of all these answers that we can talk about comply, no, it's called sweat equity. It's called the citizens need to do their work, and so does the police. Yes, money might need to be spent on both sides. Who gives a damn? Do you want to save the community or not? And that's the real fucking question that I would ask him and Candace Owens. Do black people deserve a shot to be a goddamn human being? I'm waiting. Here it is. We got the simple audacity. And I mean the audacity to chastise people for what? Being only difference of skin tone? This is the simple shit that we ride through. But yet, anybody wants to talk about the education of a black male. It's cool for the females. As long as that black male, keep working like a goddamn slave, nobody gives a fuck about him. As long as that black male does what he told and don't question the system, regardless if the system hates him or wants to miseducate him, nobody gives a damn. See, sooner or later, we're going to have to separate the man from the child, the cowards from the brave, and the real from the phony. Don't give me no phony shit about complying. Show me how to be where you are or where you were. It's very easy to talk down to people who have no backing, but when you go against the society that does have the backing, you learn to shut your mouth very quickly, huh? And there's a reason why an Officer Faulkner's never going to be on Fox News, on the BBC, is because he's going to tell the unapologetic truth. Talking to a guy who got 14 years in and 10 years in the military and 18 months in Iraq. Stop lying to people. There is no fucking justification of lying to people. Spreading false narratives, and then you know damn well majority of these damn cops need the training when it comes to other ethnicities. Because guess what? Ask how many white people actually had to do a project or even read a book that was made by a black man. Of course, Candace Owens don't care about the black community because she wants to eliminate she wants to be white by proxy. She thinks that she marries white, that'll automatically bring her whiteness. But when she found out at the Republican National Convention she wasn't invited, boom, nigga wake up call. The beautiful thing about America, it's always going to let you know where you stand. And people like Tatum and Owens, remember, when white people let you go, you always going to have to come back to the black community for forgiveness. Look at Stacey Dash. Look at so many of these big time swirlers and negative talkers of black society. They always want to try to find a home because Zaddy put them out on their ass. Because Zaddy put them out. Notice they'll never talk about, hey, we need to get these kids more opportunities. We need to get these kids more education, more training, more trade, STEM. You'll never hear that. Of course not. Because you're supposed to stay quiet as the humble goddamn worker bee that you are. You're supposed to shut the fuck up and take the abuse and comply. And comply. Even if I sit down with my hands on top of my head and my legs crossed, you got some guy who wants to try to do his arm lock technique he saw from watching the UFC, and then when the guy screams pull away, he wants to justify resisting arrest. Well, those are the same motherfuckers who would be scared shitless if an officer like me wasn't around. And then you got to yoke that officer up and say, what the fuck are you doing? But we're not racist. Mr. Bellamy, thank you for your Cash App support. See, it's amazing how a guy has almost 1,800 subscribers. I can only manage about 32 people on a live midday, early afternoon, early evening, late afternoon, early evening, talking about some real stuff. But if Brandon come up on here talking some gibberish about black people, guess what? Negroes be giving money hand to fist as long as with the white boys. And you wonder why you don't have too many people in the profession speaking up for you. You wonder why. So a lot of you need to thank Art New Style. A lot of you really need to thank them. Here it is. We got an officer, a former officer, speaking some goddamn rhetoric that can easily, with a Google check, be debunked. Anytime they had to fucking put court orders, federal court orders against stop and frisk. Because the only people you were stopping and frisking were poor black neighborhoods. The same fucking poor black neighborhoods, a lot of these police recruiters could have changed the lives of a lot of black men, young black boys. Who the hell wants to sell drugs when now you have a career that you can leave after 20, 21 years? 25 at the most. And then we're going to talk about how he wants to bring up, like, most football players are broke after 2 years of retirement. Number one, when you try to use that narrative, that's false, because a lot of athletes are now much better with their money. And then two, the average black person is not going to come in contact with that type of money. It goes back to education. How many times have we put in finance classes and economics classes in these black schools? But yet you don't talk about the white boys who spend their money on liquor and fucking women and fucking fast cars and blow their stack. You don't want to talk about how Kentucky is the motherland of fucking the welfare queens. You don't talk about how Mitch McConnell, I don't know how the fuck he gets voted. Kentucky is literally one of, if not the poorest state in the fucking union. Where if you didn't have fucking Obamacare, a lot of those children's fucking teeth would rot out their fucking mouths. Let's keep speaking on this. Sorry about that. But yeah, like, share, subscribe again. Yeah, we won't talk about how the system is locking up black men at an alarming rate that white people never understood. But this country isn't racist. See how all the laws are put against the black man? Look at child support alone. If a black woman says, I can't take care of my child, she gets Section 8, child support, child custody, educational support, transportational support, a clothing allowance, food stamps. If a black man says, I can't take care of my child by myself, he gets his license taken away and possibly jail time. But this country isn't racist. How many times does a black guy get stopped for having a nice car in a neighborhood he probably shouldn't be, they think he shouldn't be in, or that car's too good for this neighborhood, I need to stop him? He's possibly selling drugs. The last time I checked, Big Pharma's the biggest drug dealers. The biggest drug dealers in the country actually wore suits. Not Jordans. Not New Balances. Suits. One of the biggest damn drug dealers was one of your goddamn presidents named Reagan. Ask Oliver North. But we want to condemn the little man. Oh, we look like a thug. Well, I guess if I wear, like, you know, if I go to Brooks Brothers and grab a suit, I look like the ultimate goddamn drug dealer. You want to know who the ultimate crooks are? There's an old saying, you get a gun, you can rob a bank. When you get a bank, you can rob everybody. Housing crisis, anybody? I don't see Tatum or fucking Candace Owens speaking about that shit. That shit that happened when Obama got in office with that fucking economic shit. All them people. Did you notice that Ford, GM, and what's the other one? Somebody say it in the chat. The other one, the big three. You know them motherfuckers came on their private fucking jet to beg the fucking president of the United States for some stimulus help. Where the fuck was our stimulus? Where the fuck was our money when our houses were foreclosed? Where the fuck was our money? Oh, you taxes half the fucking death to give these motherfuckers more money when it comes to the banks, when it comes to these financial institutions, when it comes to all these corporations. And what do? They lay you the fuck off. Chrysler, thank you. If I'm gonna play poor, I'm gonna play smart poor. I would have took a first class fucking plane ride to DC instead of coming on a fucking private jet to really insult the American public and the intellect of it. But people talk about police reform. Yes, the police need reforming because you're still following the same fucking racist shit from the from the 80s to the early 90s of how you treat everybody like a goddamn criminal. Instead of being a public servant and actually teaching people and actually being hands-on with the community to know who's causing a crime and who's being a peaceful citizen. Just like you need more funding for people to get training in the citizens to understand what police go through. You need more educational systems, such as like a JROTC or the Explorers program for the police, to actually get more police officers from the community. But guess what? You don't believe black boys should be invested into. You don't believe that black people are even worth a goddamn because of the negative stereotypes and rhetoric. I like to call this episode Rhetoric and Blackface. Racism and Blackface. Just comply. How fucking much can you comply when you're on your fucking stomach and handcuffs with a knee to your goddamn neck? How much? When you know goddamn well there's black officers who would have took a different route. And for all the black officers who do shit just to show off for the white boys, go fuck yourselves. Because you make me sick to my stomach on a personal and professional level. You can't stand up for your own people because you're scared to lose a white friend. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. There's many of people I don't speak to in the police department now because of their fucked up behavior. Many of people I got in fights with in the military over their racist, fucked up behavior. Hell, I got more shit with me than most of these pro-blacks do. Most of these pro-blacks are scared to stand up to white fucking zaddy. I do it on a daily fucking basis. But here it is. There's no racism and we should just comply. See, it's funny how historically we know that's not even true. I mean, Selma showed you how much a peaceful demonstration of black folks got them. It got them tear gas and ass whoopings. It's a damn shame that you can have tears in your eyes speaking to elder black men and women who said I went blind in one eye thanks to a police officer's nightstick to my skull. Thanks to you wanting to suppress my rights as an American. Thanks to the fact that your daddy liberated your fucking asses in World War II. But the police doesn't need to be reformed. Yes, it does. Now, do I like my police officer Bill of Rights? You goddamn right, I do. Because when you accuse me of not doing my job, I get legal representation. When a motherfucker's mad because I had to arrest him and say I used some type of force where we could clearly see on body cam that I was in the right, you can't automatically fire me. But when it comes to reform, yes, your policies on how you treat and how you recruit and the equipment. Well, the police shouldn't use military weapons. What the fuck's a military grade weapon? And have most of you even been in the military to know what the military grade weapon is? An AR-15 is not a military grade weapon. A Bearcat is not a military grade weapon. BDUs, which are called stand for battle dress uniforms, BDUs are typical work clothing, not the pants that we get as traditional officers. Not in this city. Hell no. But I'm going to tell you what I'm getting sick and tired of. I'm getting sick and tired of everybody else's fucking community dictating to black people what should we do and what should we protest. Fuck you. Stop using our strength. Stop using our tactics. Stop using our numbers. If you want it, you're going to have to do like everybody else. Fuck you, pay me. An AR-15 is not an M4. Trust me. Ask me how I know. It's amazing how everybody wants to talk about military grade this, military grade that, but you never took your ass to the damn military. Hell, a lot of you never been to JROTC, so shut the fuck up. You know, one day, one of my wrestlers said, Coach, you know, you should run for mayor. I said, you know why they won't vote for me? Because I'm too fucking honest. Because my state of the address speech will have some curse words. Not only do I believe in police reform, I believe in parent reform. Get off your lazy asses and train your children correctly. So my job can be a lot easier. What about education reform? There's no fucking way in Baltimore City a guy with a 0.13 average should be in the midpoint of his graduating class. But his mother said she didn't know. You're a poor excuse for a parent, lady. Piss poor. How do I know? Because I spent 10 years and 18 months in the war zone and these United States Army knowing the difference between what's military grade and what's not. And before I get to this goddamn chiropractor to hear the snack crackles pops in my spine, I'm going to say this to people like Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, and others of the wannabe cooning for dollars, blackface for white points. If you're not a part of the solution, then obviously you're a part of the problem. Shut the fuck up. Because you reneged on your ability to talk about the black community and you have done nothing to help it. Now, for you motherfuckers from the BBC, Fox, CNN, it's not that hard to reach me, even though you're not even going to press a button to get me. The real recognize the real. We're going to stop letting people who mean us no harm to speak up for us. The people who have boots on ground try to bring this community back to its glory days. The people who do not believe in suppression, but also supremacy. And see, when I'm talking about black supremacy, it doesn't mean put another race down. It means be greatness by your goddamn self. And if you out here, I want you to all come back later on because I might start a live stream talking about the subject. Because I'm going to come for a lot of people's heads in this stream who got a lot to say about policing and haven't done it correctly. Woo! And I'm out. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That cognac and cigars don't pay for itself, baby. If you want me to come on here and do some more shit like this, hey, y'all going to have to show me you like it. Like, share, and subscribe, and damn sure donate if you want me to do more stuff like this. Woo! We out.